So it's for sure worth it because if you don't deal with your issues, if I don't deal with my issues, if any one of us or any one of them don't deal with our issues, it's gonna mess up our children's children.
Yeah, generational curses.
It's not gonna just affect you. It's gonna affect everybody else. Like many reasons, you know what I'm saying?
Don't like and subscribe.
Welcome back, YouTube, with many reasons here. Cam, Caitlin.
Sure.
The topic for today is a very important and special one: the usage of therapy.
Yep.
The usage of therapy.
You're not wrong for using it.
You're not wrong.
You're really not. I really think, and I'm starting off, I really think the use of therapy in all the communities, but I'll, touch home a little bit in our community is really important because there's a lot of traumas, there's a lot of issues, a lot of isolation in the mind, evil thoughts in your mind and in your hearts that a lot of people don't know how to get out or express to others or have a place to be able to put it and know that it's not going anywhere or a place to just check in, and a lot of people condemn therapy to saying you're crazy or ridiculous or you ain't got no sense. That's not true because I personally am one that use it. And I'm telling you, it actually does a lot. It really does wonders when you're able to pour out the inner things that you can't really share amongst the closest ones to you. Yeah. The person that ain't got a dog in the fight or whatever that can actually judge from a
unbiased standpoint.
Thank you very much, unbiased standpoint, and then they can give you their honest opinion and navigate you to make the best move forward, going ahead. And so as I was saying, I'm in it, not ashamed of it. It actually really helps me out, moves me forward, lets me know that when I'm checking in, I ain't lost my mind yet.
No, it's like basically like a wellness check. Sometimes you gotta give yourself a wellness check. How I'm doing throughout the week, throughout the month, and stuff like that.
There's actually people, not to cut you off, that actually uses therapy just to check in, just to see how it is. So we know them. We know people up like that, and there's nothing wrong with that.
And then it's effective from a third party perspective because they have no dog in it. Like what he was saying, they just coming in from what's your side. Okay, now how do we come to a conclusion?
Or just you.
Yeah. Or if it's a significant other too. Like it doesn't have to. It could just be you. What?
So I was about to say, I'm a person that ain't never been to therapy.
Mm-hmm.
So when I seen it, like people like, oh, it's not, it's lame.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Or it's
the judge comes in.
Or it's like it don't really help me.
Yeah.
It's like I seen people that they didn't take therapy seriously.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, if I'm gonna go to therapy, I gotta take it serious.
Yeah.
Because some people they won't take it serious and like, oh, my pain's still there. Why I'm like this? Why I'm like that? And I'm like, I can't do that right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so I'd rather put my talk it out vent to God or I talk to my friends. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just really talk it out because I want to go to therapy, see how it is, but at the same time, like, is it worth it?
Yeah. No.
Well,
for real, it is. It's worth it. Like, so what therapy does. So interesting thing about trauma.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever age we have trauma in, if we don't deal with it and we just let that trauma stay there, you may be physically 35. If something happened to you at 12, you still 12. Cut your trauma is still there. It did not let you grow up. That's a part of you that's still locked there that has not grown. So what therapy does is goes back and grabs that little boy and talks him through it until he's able to become that full-grown man that you already are. So it's for sure worth it because if you don't deal with your issues, if I don't deal with my issues, if any one of us or any one of them don't deal with our issues, it's going to mess up our children's children.
Yeah. Generational curses.
It's not going to just affect you, it's going to affect everybody else. Like, you matter enough to take care of you, but you also matter enough to take care of you for your other generation.
Yeah.
So it's for sure worth it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm in it.
Yeah. Like, what made y'all go to therapy? Like, what made that moment of like, all right, I need to go?
For me, it was. I didn't necessarily believe that me and somebody we did not have a good relationship, because I've seen everyone else in my family, they had a good relationship, but for me, I always felt as if I was an outcast. I actually felt that at one point. And it's like the way I see everyone else can be affectionate around this person, I couldn't necessarily be that. I had to love them from a distance at one point. And what was crazy, like this year, like we reconciled and we got back together. And because it's like for me, all I said was, "You're a headache, but you're my headache." And after I came to that realization, like I felt so relieved. I felt like there was weight lifted off of me. So one thing my therapist was telling me was, maybe you looked at it from a point, because ever since everyone was being loved in their way, you couldn't find the love to get your way. And I was like, that's real. Because I didn't know how to, like, they had their own ways of getting love. I just didn't know mine at that point. So then I think that was for me, it was unlocking that, you know what, it's okay. Like, I ain't gotta have it like everybody else. And if this works for me and you, then it works for me and you.
Yeah.
What's for you is for you.
Yeah.
But to answer your question, Reese, like for me, shoot, I had got my heart broken, and I had to deal with my own brokenness because I got my heart broken because I was so disappointed in me. So like, it wasn't. So here's the, it's one thing to like be disappointed in yourself and like still have to serve and give out to people. For i.e. like with me being a minister, right? So like I still gotta minister to folks, and I'm over here knowing I'm as broken as I am, and not functioning nowhere near 100%. Nobody knows my real story. I'm not talking about it. I'm just here isolating my own thoughts, going through it, ready to crash out, ready to end it all. And like I was like, bro, this is not good for you in no shape, form, or fashion. Like, you need to talk to somebody. If you don't want to talk to your mama, cool. You want to talk to your sister, cool. You don't want to talk to your mentor, cool. But somebody, you need to talk to somebody, because otherwise, you being this isolated ain't good. And so what therapy did is it made me go back to, like I said, the part of me that got traumatized. The part of me that got traumatized and like me trying to get him to grow up and come to a full person. And I'm not all the way there yet. It's still a process, but it's so not to make it too biblical, but it's like the man that was at the pool of Bethesda, but it was lame, the leg couldn't work, and he's been there for 35 years. Jesus didn't ask him how it happened. Jesus didn't ask him, you know, who fault it was, why ain't nobody else put him in the water, none of that. All he asked him was, are you ready to be made whole? Yes or no? And when it came to me and my story, that's what it was. It was, I get all of that, okay, is you ready to be made whole?
Yeah.
And that's the decision I had to make. I didn't want to be broken no more. And I didn't want to give my broken self to relationships. I didn't want to give my broken self to people I had to minister to. I didn't want to give my broken self to my friends and family. So that's what made me go for me.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same realm as him when you realize what you're going through and what the person you are is hurting somebody else. So even seeing my marriage spiral out of control because I'm blinded to my perspective. So being able to, seeing my wife hurt, seeing my relationship go down the drain, seeing that I'm not happy, seeing that I'm depressed, and accepting that and saying, okay, I need to change. So that was the biggest thing for me going, because I realized that I'm depressed, I'm suicidal at one point. I mean, this is just in general. Because I've been several times. I've been several times. Depressed, suicidal, marriage going down the drain, just all out, just to the point to where on the outside everybody look at me like, oh yeah, he got together. On the inside, no. I'm falling apart.
Yeah.
And then realizing I was like, you know what? Like you said, do I really want help? Yes. Do I really want to get better? Yes. do I have to put the work in?
Yes.
If you don't put the work in, it's not gonna work.
Yeah.
Those first, I mean, since we all been, those first few sessions, it's just a get to know.
Mm-hmm.
They're just gonna ask you, okay, you know, who folks is, what you do growing up, what
Yeah.
you like,
Yeah.
what you don't like. So you just can't vent to somebody they don't know. You can be like, oh yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
And it's not. So for me, it was when I started to realize I was hurting my marriage, hurting my wife because of things I was saying, my perspective, even my family for that instance, to realize, like, you know what? I don't want to be this person.
Yeah.
Because how I look at myself, I'm like, okay, I'm good. I'm a good person. I'm a good dude. I do this, do that. But those are just the highlights.
Mhm.
But deep down, there's some other stuff that I need to deal with. So as Sean was saying, hey, that stuff that happened to you when you was a teenager, when you was a kid, something snapped to where you realize, okay, reality kind of hit. So let me bring you back to, or let me teach you how to handle it as a grown man, because it kind of went back to our last session, to where if you're broken, you're gonna lead a broken family because you're not fixing what you need to fix.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hurt people hurt people.
Yes.
It does.
So my whole thing was, I know it kind of corny, but if I fix me, I fix we.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
No, that's
if
true.
I can fix my issues, because it's gonna be a never-ending thing, because the same you, well, the person you are now, you weren't 5 years ago.
Right.
So you're gonna keep changing as you get older,
Yes.
and you're gonna go through new things. So as you get older, you gotta realize, okay, who am I now? Now, like, I'm not the kid that, wanted to play video games all day. I'm not the kid trying to go find and hunt on something all the time. I'm the kid that don't want to be, I'm not the same man that just want to be alone, just laid up next to somebody all the time.
Yeah.
I'm just stuck in a dead-end job. I'm trying to figure out how to get out. All that stuff affects you. And if you don't have a work-life balance, it's going to eat your ass alive.
Boy.
And so when, like I said, for me, just going to therapy, I realized, okay, my thought process is screwed up. My emotions are screwed up. Everything in my life is just going down. I need help.
Yep.
And I can't expect my wife to fix me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not her job.
Yeah.
And that's where most marriages fall apart, to where I'm not happy, you need to make me happy.
Yeah.
That's an interesting point. That for real, because that's what people do.
Yeah.
I'm broken so bad, you gotta fix it. I was having a conversation with someone that we work with, and they was like, if I'm broken, they gonna help me heal. And I was like, that is not their job. Like men or women, if they watch this podcast, if you acknowledge that you're broken, acknowledge it. Don't go break nobody else. Don't sleep with nobody else. Don't date nobody else. Don't do none of that stuff that's gonna entangle any other person. Take full ownership. I'm broken. I don't need to be with anybody doing anything since I'm broken. And that's okay. But acknowledge that and own it and start working towards getting whole. Because the thing you don't want to do is when you do, get married, is come into your marriage, both of y'all broken and never experienced wholeness. And y'all both trying to fit jigsaw puzzles together because y'all would never really hold.
Trying to
From
put
jump.
triangles in a circle. It's
Yeah,
not
You
gonna
can't
work.
square it.
It's not gonna work.
Cannot.
For all you people, and I remember you made a point, and I'm glad they gave their stories, and I'll give mine. But a point earlier that you made when it was like, how people are like, oh, I'm still this way. Their healing takes time
Yeah.
in every aspect. It don't matter if it's on this plane or up there in that plane. Of course, in his time it's different, but semantics and all that. But healing takes time, people, and you have to let it heal. Because a lot of people, time will pass and stuff like that, and then you thinking they're healing, but they're not allowing the heal to begin because they're letting that boil, that it festering, and you're not trying to let it. So now it's an infection. It's gone out of hand because people are not choosing to let things heal as they're supposed to. And you don't have to, but it's healthier and smarter to let it because you'll be able to move farther and better in life. Well, I'm in therapy, and the reason why I joined is because of loss. yes, loss spurred me on, but it was a long time after the loss. You see, because one day me and Sean was sitting down and having a conversation. He says, "Why don't you do therapy?" And I was like, why would I do that?
Yeah.
The skepticism,
Yeah.
the what, but it's helped me tremendously. Being able to get things off my chest, how I feel, and I'm not one to go around and give emotions out. I'm not really in tune with those because I push away from those. You see, so now that I'm able to give them out, like I was saying, due to loss from a couple years ago, it's done affected me on a aspect because I was one of those, as I'm telling you, people that didn't let it heal. So it affected my other relationships with people, my family being harder towards them, or God, the disconnect. Because instead of letting it heal and trying to keep him in my ear and whatnot, you let hate and other evil, malicious, thoughtful things in. You see what I'm saying? And then, what he was talking about on the last session, you want to get at the person. You see what I'm saying? So, and they weren't close to me when this happened. Like we were close, but we were a ways away.
Yeah.
And so I can only hear you. You can't be here to comfort me physically, like hug on me and let me know that it's okay. So it was, and it's all choice at the end of the day, yes, but at the same time, it's like you do need that reconfirmation for when you got people close to you, that cares about you, wife or spouse or brothers or friends. And, for me, it was easier choice for me to let the evil in and the thoughts and the wants and the willing to crash out, you know what I'm saying? But I'm glad I didn't, my moms, my brothers, my sister, everyone corralled around me, and it really kept me from making decisions that I would regret. And now that I'm in therapy, I'm able to talk about those decisions that I thought about doing, and looking back on them, you're thinking like, was I really thinking of being capable of something like that? But at that time, when you're at your lowest, i.e. depression or depression, regret, loss, hate, all these things, you're not thinking clearly. Your mental, that's why it's important, mental month. Because when those things are challenged, you can't make good decisions because you're willing to do anything to make the pain stop.
Yeah.
Whether either taking it away, knocking it off, or knocking you. You see what I'm saying? And a lot of people, a lot of y'all out there are going through this thing where you don't have a avenue to pour the faucet out and put these things out there, and so somebody can let you know that somebody's in your corner. You know what I mean? And that's why I think therapy is really important. You just heard 4 brothers and one even considering the thought of joining it. And it's not a bad thing. You can't judge us and say we're crazy or ridiculous. We needed that at the different points in our life because if we didn't have it, where would we be?
Right.
You see?
Right.
Crashing out or making others crash, you see? And so I'm telling you, I really think that, especially in our community, even though it's a worldwide problem, an epidemic, yes, especially in ours, we need the thought of knowing that therapy is not for the ludicrous or whatever. It's actually for the ones that are trying to keep in, tap in, and make your brain needs work the way they're supposed to, because I'm telling you, the world is trying. Life is trying. There's problems, epidemics, there's things that's always coming. The enemy's always got a plan. It never ends. So you see what I'm saying? There's always something. So you always need to keep yours up.
And to you people, please do not over spiritualize this. That you can have Jesus and therapy.
He made therapy for a reason.
Come on, man.
Y'all literally think that you can only do one. He made that for a reason. And people don't be thinking that because it's going against. It's like he made that job. Why do you think it's out here?
You can talk to him and therapy.
Thank you. You can do both. You can do both.
It's definitely a resource. So, I mean, they always say God's a provider. You still got to go to work.
Come on, man.
I mean, it is what it
You
is.
yes.
You talking now?
You can do both.
But at the end of the day, I think, what you guys were saying, when it comes down to you guys going to therapy, just as far as our culture, now how mental health is handled, you can get free sessions.
Yes.
So you don't have to pay a whole bunch of money
Yes.
to go to somebody's office and sit in a brown leather chair and lay
Right.
back. You can do it from your phone.
That's how I do
You
mine.
can
Yep.
do it, you know, you can do it telehealth. You can go to somebody's office.
Yep.
Job has benefits. You
Mhm.
need to look.
Yeah.
They see they should have it. You got mental health days, because I showed you some last year.
Yes.
You know, you just say, hey, I just need a break.
But-
And just take it.
I got a point. But see, and I don't mean to cut you off, but see that you just said it. You have to look.
Yeah.
Y'all have to become more divested in worrying about your health and keeping it afloat. 100%, like Sean said. It can't stay at 50 to navigate through life. It needs to be at 100. And of course, nothing stays there, but to keep it above 90, just, you know what I'm saying? Always, it's like preventive maintenance.
Yeah.
You see?
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm gonna start using
Thank
these terms. It's
Yeah.
like preventive maintenance.
Yes, sir.
Maintenance is very important, and you know a lot of people let the car go on for a long time. Wrecks, oil change need to be done a million miles. You see what I'm saying? Preventive maintenance keeps it from getting to that point.
Yeah,
You can't just do
absolutely.
one session of maintenance for like 6 months and think that's gonna work. That's not gonna work. Preventive maintenance regularly. It doesn't even hurt. Every 2 weeks, every 3 weeks. It's not a problem or a burden. You know, and like he said, there are free avenues out there.
Yeah.
Preventive maintenance keeps you from getting to that point of resolve making crazy decisions. You see? There's nothing wrong with that. Do a little preventive maintenance. If y'all can worry about everything else, semantics that don't even matter, that doesn't even move you forward, you can at least put the time and effort into worrying about your brains and doing your preventive maintenance, i.e., and making sure you stay afloat in the world.
Got to.
Because there's always trying things.
And then if y'all got a know-it-all in y'all group or in y'all family, stop listening to them.
Yeah.
There's one person who always got an answer for everything you're going through. Do not listen to them.
And they probably ain't even got it all
They
together.
ain't got it
either.
together themselves, man.
Man, look, love yourself enough to give yourself a chance to try it.
Yeah.
Try it. Like Vic said, they free.
Yeah.
Try it. What's the worst?
What's the worst that can happen? And then piggyback off what my man said too. When you go to therapy, for anybody, all of us, don't sit here and try to answer it before the therapist gives you an answer, okay? Like sometimes you gotta sit back and let them dissect you. Let someone dissect you and then try to help you. Don't sit here and be like, I know why I'm going through this.
You already have your biased opinion in your answer. Let the person that has no dog in the fight or no win or whatever see it from objectively, like, I see where you're coming from. I know where you're going, but that's not the answer.
Yeah.
You see? And of course, you're going to think that's the answer because you've been sitting and festering and pondering. But see, you need somebody that can see it from a different objective and perspective. That's when you get that clarity and that real answer. You see, you when you fester and you sit on it too long, your answer is going to be wrong most times or not because you see, you done let it cook too long and marinate, whatever you want to call it.
And we
Don't
don't
cook.
Yeah, I was gonna say, when it comes down to therapy and just looking at it from a mental perspective, you gotta think about you gotta be balanced in life. So many things are gonna be thrown at you, whether it's kids, parents, job. It's impossible to handle everything and let it be extremely well all at one time. One thing goes sideways, something's gonna get thrown. So I know for me in my job, I'm a kind of a wellness, they call it a wellness coach or mental health coach, and it's just expressing to people, okay, we have this benefit, we have that benefit, and it should be all free. So I always tell people, look at their job and look at their benefits, because you never know what they have. They have child care benefits to where they can get you discounts, pet care, elderly care. You know, we got kids and they're struggling with classes and stuff. You're like, okay, I need help tutoring them because I can't work 12-hour shifts. Go home, try to cook, clean. Get you a tutor.
Yeah.
So find you your avenues that can really help you. Something that you say is that you gotta love yourself. For me, during those points in times, I still love myself. I didn't like who I was.
Yeah.
So I need to change. So love yourself enough to say, okay, I want to be the best version of me I
There you
possibly
go.
can. Right now, I'm not it.
Yeah.
And right now, I'm in a place to where I don't want to be anymore. I think